within a tag, and then that tag can then visualize that live data coming through.
Got it. So you use AR Connect, you walk through the model, put the tag where you want it to be inside the model, and just link it to the URL, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. So exactly. So yeah, pretty much exactly the same as integrating a matter tag into a space, and then captured tags have
staff on site, but experts are often off site. And for the expert to understand, what the on-site staff is doing and needs, having that integration with the IoT and the Matterport model is critical. And so the on-site person basically can have something like this, get more information off of the whatever industrial equipment or anything that happens to be there, and the off-site expert can be there with them, kind of guiding them along the way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a great way to kind of streamline this information. It means that certain external stakeholders may not need to come to the physical site itself to do these inspections. They can access that data remotely from wherever they are. So yeah, good efficiency, time saving, cost saving, obviously as well from there.
Yeah. Brilliant. Awesome. So, okay. Let's look at some questions before we go on to the next example. Does the app store data, or will that live within the Matterport platform? I believe it's the AR, I guess it depends on the data you're referring to, Samantha, but I think for the most part, we're talking about uploaded BIM assets, something like that is stored within AR Connect, is that right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, so it'll be stored in the captured platform that you've integrated that content into initially through desktop, and then viewed through the AR Connect platform. So yeah, it wouldn't be stored in Matterport directly. It would be stored in captured /AR Connect.
And the Matterport model itself, that's just linked right in.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so really easy to bring a Matterport model into captured, just copy and paste the URL, and it's as easy as that. It takes less than 20 seconds.
Yeah. So you paste the URL for your captured model. For your captured model, and into captured, and then you have that AR Connect tab that you can go into. It'll show you the model, and you can do anything like add tags, add 3D assets like BIM or anything else, media and so on. And then when you're on site, we have to create that little measurement line that you showed us.
Through measurements or area targets. Yeah, if you have, we probably recommend area targets. We found a little bit more success in terms of accuracy of alignment, especially as the model gets slightly larger as well. So for that, you need the OBJ file downloaded from Matterport. But yeah, there are a couple of different ways of doing it depending on your use case. Either the manual measurement image alignment, which can be really good for the end user or the member of the public to just easily align via a picture, or the area targets as well, which I find to be the most successful, I'd say.
When you say area targets, is that like a QR code, or is that not right?
Yeah, so it's essentially uploading the OBJ file, so downloading the matter pack from Matterport, and then integrating that OBJ file into the AR experience, which basically means you can align from anywhere. So we were talking before about having these manual measurement alignment points. You would have to then align from that specific area or point that you've created that measurement from. However, with the area targets and the OBJ integration, you can align from absolutely anywhere. You don't need to be in a specific place in the model. You just open your phone, AR Connect, wave it around, and within a couple of seconds, it's aligned.
Got it. So that kind of feeds all those measurement lines, like every measurement line really, into the model itself.
It's the whole mesh.
Yeah,
it's the whole mesh essentially. Yeah. So yeah, no need to create any manual measurements. It's essentially done through the entire mesh of the model, so that it will recognize any particular part of the mesh wherever you are within the space.
All right, fantastic. So that's another sounds like a really good way of getting them to align. Omar asks, can that work for navigating the area to different, for example, of a mall? Can you use AR Connect to do like wayfinding, or you have another tool for wayfinding maybe?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, it's good we got onto this because I don't think we've spoken about it yet. So yeah, you are able to integrate wayfinding into the augmented experience in AR Connect. And that again takes place within the Captured Creator Studio. So you're able to set specific wayfinding points and then either create an A to B journey. So, hey, I'm currently at the front door. I want to get to this particular office. And then it will give you a wayfinding layer over that, or you can have a journey with multiple different stops taking you from A to B to C to D to E, for example, and then ending after a particular journey. So those are visualized through blue wayfinding orbs. There's a few videos on our Captured YouTube page kind of visualizing how that looks, showing how that looks. But yeah, that's definitely possible wayfinding within a particular model.
Cool. So I mean, with Omar's example, you're at a mall, there's, the directory or something like that. The mall facilities team could choose to have a wayfinding QR code or some kind of, link on that directory. It'll align, it kind of figures out where you are, kind of gets you into the AR Connect platform and tool. And you can just search for the directory of where you want to go, hit that button, and then you start seeing in your screen, on the screen on your phone, you'll start seeing these little blue dots that you're talking about, kind of leading you in that direction. You don't have to know, or remember the map. Oh, I'm here. I got to go here. It just kind of leads you.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can set up each wayfinding point within the Captured Creator Studio first. So just setting up each point that you want to be able to be navigated to, or the end user to navigate to. And then there's a little wayfinding button in the AR Connect app that you can click, and then that will bring up each of those stop points, and then the end user can select where they want to go based on where they currently are. So they'll just select a point or a journey, as I mentioned, with multiple stop points, and then be able to be directed to those places.
Cool. Yeah, and it sounds like inside GPS basically is what we're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Google Maps, but indoors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Google Maps. Yeah, brilliant. All right. Let's see what else we got here. I think Joseph asked this when you had when we were in the AR Connect model or tool, and there was a kind of a lady, an animated figure in the corner there. Is she an asset that you can interact with? I think it's just like a pre-recorded. Can you, what kind of, is there kind of interaction with that? Oh, you're on mute.
Apologies, taking a sip of coffee. So yeah, it's essentially a 3D asset that's been animated on a loop. So we've partnered with Sketchfab to be able to integrate hundreds of thousands of different models into there. She can't be interacted with yet, but we're definitely looking into sequencing to be able to maybe click her to be able to tell us additional information, etc., and things like that. So that's definitely coming. But yeah, we definitely see use cases for that. But at the moment, she can't be interacted with as such. However, you can, and I mentioned this to a few clients recently, you can kind of combine different features to give that aura of interactivity. For example, if you have that animated lady, for example, and then you're able to place spatial audio onto certain areas of the model so that when the end user walks into that space, audio will start playing. So you can combine that with having that animated lady that when you walk into her general vicinity, she could start talking and give more information about the space, which gives that feeling of interactivity. But sequencing and be able to, if I click this asset, then this happens is definitely something that we're looking into and going to be launching later in the year. Cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can use those type of assets, just kind of add interest to like a guided tour, when you're at a place, a museum, for example, and you're at a piece, you want to learn more about that piece, you could just have the audio speaking to you, or you could have like this animated character also speaking to you, or even just recorded video. I know people have used green screen characters and recorded the video and just pop that in as well.
Absolutely. And you can trigger those videos currently within the Captured Creator Studio to the video will start playing when that video is viewed by the end user, is viewable in vicinity or kind of on load of the experience. So you can kind of, toggle through how you want that video to play to kind of, provide more interactivity and immersion into the experience.
Yeah, that's a cool kind of a guide. So as you're there with the phone walking around, again, just let's say a museum or whatever it might be, it doesn't really matter. In turn, and then you see the figure, this character, then it starts playing, then it starts talking to you and saying, hey, this is where we're at and what you're seeing.
Exactly, yeah. So combining various features to kind of work together within the experience is pretty
Cool.
powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. You can add assets in Captured. Can you remove items from the Matterport scan? Matterport, the room that has furniture, somehow get rid of furniture and replace the new furniture in Captured. Is that something that's possible?
Good question. I'm really looking forward to this as well because I definitely see use cases for it. At the moment, you can only add additional digital content within the tour. You can't remove physical items or objects from the tour. The thing may be using the trim tool within Matterport to kind of hide certain elements or sections of the tool of that. But no, at the moment, it's definitely something that we're working towards. But at the moment, it's just adding in those 3D assets rather than removing physical ones that have been taken in the scan.
Yeah, makes sense. All right. Can you share BIM overlay in the Matterport viewer, not just in the real world AR? So
yes.
So if I am not in the real world, in the space itself, in the physical space, and I just want to look at this model, would I look at it? I would look at it through Captured, and the assets that I integrated using AR Connect would be there. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So you can view the BIM model as essentially a virtual staging item within desktop. So away from the AR functionality, you can have the BIM model displayed, as a virtual staging model or layer within the desktop version. So that's definitely possible for sure. Anything you do on desktop or any assets you're adding in to be viewed on the desktop version can also be applied into AR as well. So it really depends on how you want that to be used, and you can have both of those showing in each version of the experience.
Yeah, and it's just like Showcase, right? You just share a link with anybody, really. Whoever has that link will see the model and those assets because they're kind of linking through Captured. They're kind of getting to the model through Captured, which is layering on the assets.
Exactly. Exactly. You can toggle on and off those layers as well. So if you wanted to see the BIM, you can click that and it will appear. And if you wanted to hide it, you can turn that off as well. So you can toggle between those different layers as well to showcase whatever you want to see.
Got it. Can you use that? I guess that's coming in the future. Instead of toggling the BIM, toggling a second model.
So that's possible at the moment. So you can have multiple models connected through one URL of the tour. So we have something called our navigation menu, which can integrate all sorts of external content, but then also multiple different scans of different buildings or areas that can be toggled through and then viewed individually, but through the same URL link as well, which is it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I have actually seen this where someone took like a Google Street View, or not the Street View, not the Pano, but the 3D asset from Google, right? Their Google Earth, where you have kind of the exterior of the building, and integrated that model with the interior from Matterport, and you can turn the exterior on and off.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I'll need to dig out one of those examples. We have a couple of really cool examples. I can share that on our Captured Community Facebook page, so I can share all those models as well. And as you said, you can have exterior models either taken through drone and applied, like had photogrammetry conversions done on it, to toggle off and viewing the exterior or the outside layer of the model, or as you said before, more of like a neighborhood Google Maps kind of view.
Yeah, people are getting really creative, and this is all based on basically dropping furniture and kind of virtual staging. It's the same concept. Instead of a couch you are dropping in an entire neighborhood model, basically, and you just have to make sure that it's to scale, and then the model, the Matterport model just kind of fits right into the building.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Just making sure it's to scale, and then obviously, or making sure that the that digital model or asset isn't too heavy as well, because it can affect performance sometimes if it's a very, very, very large model, or if you have multiple large models or assets, sorry, within the model. So yeah, just making sure that that's optimized as much as possible before integrating.
Got it. So there is a limit, but people obviously are getting very creative with this.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's some really cool stuff coming out, and yeah, people are really taking it to the nth degree, which is cool to see.
Yeah, that is cool. You mentioned an example with the school. I think that's kind of cool and kind of shows the concept, I guess. We'll look at it through this, but the idea is, dropping in these assets into an empty space to kind of show what's possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I can share my screen as well and just showcase that quickly. So this is for a STEM school called Quantum Victoria. Yeah, and as you mentioned, it was an empty classroom, and the kids were learning about recycling plants and how those operate and work. And they turned an empty classroom into an entire recycling plant that the kids could then interact with and view. I'll just get this video up and scrub through. Bear with me a second. I think from here's pretty good. So again, like using those alignment points just to connect within the classroom, and then the kids were able to see all this additional content and the process of how it all works firsthand, essentially. So yeah, integrating all of these models into here. I think it goes on to show how these were integrated through the Capture Creator Studio as well. I'll scrub through. Yeah, so that's kind of where all the magic starts within the Capture Creator Studio, and then applying, as you said, just like a normal virtual staging model or assets through, having videos in here to give kind of additional information about the different areas or steps of the recycling plant as well. And yeah, it's just a really fun, interactive experience. It had some really great feedback from both teachers as well as students as well. Yeah, who kind of love seeing it through an ulterior lens and getting used to everything up close. So yeah, that was really successful. We've done a few other projects with this STEM school as well, with different kind of AR activations. So yeah, it's something that they're adopting and really, really loving.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, obviously, in this case, education is the point, is the use case. But I think the idea stays the same, right? You've got a shell of a room or a facility in any case, and you drop in assets of the way things could be. I mean, you could use this for potential design and space planning by dropping in things and walking around and kind of interacting with the space as you would before anything actually arrives on site and you start putting it together, just to make sure that you can, maneuver through this, or I don't know, I'm just kind of coming up with stuff, but the idea is before actually, putting together everything, put it together virtually and see how well it works using AR.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. It's a great additional way to kind of be immersed and showcase things that you might not be able to see firsthand. Taking 40 kids to a recycling plant might be a bit too hectic, so yeah, it's good that they can view it from their own classroom, their own institution.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really cool use case. I like that one. All right. Let's see here. We did have another question. By all means, if you have any questions, go ahead and use the Q&A panel for that. I did kind of forget to mention that in the beginning. The chat panel, I love seeing all the chat that's going on here. That's great. You should use that to kind of talk amongst yourselves and see what others are doing and maybe how they're using AR. But if you do have a question for either myself or Alex, please use the Q&A panel.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to mention as well that it's obviously sometimes challenging to show augmented reality projects through desktop or a screen share. So we do have a number of videos on our Captured YouTube page as well. So yeah, feel free to jump on and view some additional content and videos there. I'm also happy to have some one-on-one meetings with anyone who wants to explore this further. And so yeah, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to schedule an in-depth demo and go from there.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe, yeah, mention, where's the best place for people to get more information about AR Connect? Should they just go to Captured? You mentioned you have a YouTube or some other?
Yeah, so our Captured YouTube page, and we also have our Captured community Facebook page as well, with a bit of community on there where we can share ideas and concepts and different experiences. And then, I'm also happy to, schedule a demo with anyone or one-on-one meetings with anyone who wants to hear more about it. I can put my email in the chat now so that everyone, feel free to reach out and we can go from there.
Brilliant. Sounds great. Okay, back to the questions. I've never heard of AR Connect until now. I'm using Matterport. I just got the app, but it says, oh no, there are no spaces available. I have a lot of spaces with Matterport. How do I get started? Okay, so I don't exactly know what might be going on in this case. Could be a number of things, to be honest, Eric. My best suggestion is to just reach out to support. Email support@matterport.com. They'll be able to actually go, into the account and see what might be going on. And again, I'm not sure, just based off of what I know right now. Okay. Are you able to display, are you able to display virtual staging data in AR to show furniture in an empty house? So you've got an empty house, it is unfurnished, you've scanned it, you've brought the Matterport model into Captured, you go into AR Connect and you spend, 5 to 10 minutes basically virtually staging the house. And then it sounds like what you can do is take that link that Captured gives you, go to the house, go back to the house, scan the floor, whatever, to, once you've drawn that little measurement line, so it kind of aligns and syncs up. And then using your mobile device, tablet or phone, you'll be able to see all that furniture that you dropped in there inside the unfurnished house itself. Am I pretty much got that right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So all starts with integrating a Matterport scan into the Captured platform, and then you can jump into our Creator Studio and then start to place all the virtual furniture within there. We have an asset library of a few hundred assets for commercial and residential real estate. But as I mentioned earlier, we've also partnered with a company called Sketchfab, the world's largest 3D asset provider, and you can access close to 1 million models directly from the Captured Creator Studio from Sketchfab as well. And you can also upload your custom assets as well. We have some videos on our YouTube channel showcasing how you can scan objects, physical life, real life objects with an app called Polycam. It's essentially, photogrammetry and creating 3D asset files from real life objects that you can then just upload into the Captured Creator Studio. So I can try and bring up an example in a second, or I can share it with you later. But yeah, it's very simple to do. Staging an empty home, a 2-bedroom home, I'd say takes 20 to 30 minutes, maybe slightly longer if you're first starting out, and then slightly less if you become a pro at it. That's all viewable through augmented reality as well, through the AR Connect app, and virtual staging through desktop as well.
That's actually interesting. I've used Polycam before. It's actually very cool. It's a really neat way of creating 3D models, and a good way if whatever, just kind of go back to furniture. If it doesn't exist, in Sketchfab or in your library, and it's a place, I don't know, let's say some fancy designer that may not have their furniture, whatever it is, in 3D for you to download. Right? You could be in their showroom, use Polycam to scan, create a 3D model of whatever it is, dining room table, couch, doesn't really matter, and then bring that into your space and see exactly, like how that would fit, what it would look like, does it work, does it not work, Again, it's like space planning before actually committing to anything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And a lot more cost effective than real life physical virtual staging as well. So yeah.
100%. Real life virtual staging can be very expensive. I don't know what it's like uh, uh, in Melbourne, but here it's thousands of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, same here.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, so we have a question. Let's go ahead and read this off. I purchased my Pro 2 camera back in late October, so my knowledge is limited. No problem. Is it possible to pull model data directly from the camera without upload to the application? And is it possible to translate the scan to DWG and or SKP file formats? So not really, meaning no, you can't do that. The file format that when you scan using a Matterport camera or the Matterport app, basically, regardless of what camera you're using, you get a proprietary file format that it's a bunch of raw data. It's not a 3D model. It has to go through Matterport Cortex kind of processing engine to become a 3D model. All right. So inside your Matterport app, even though you start seeing things get fleshed out, and you can kind of even now, I think the latest version may be able to show you in 3D. Maybe we're not quite there yet, but that feature is in beta for sure. It's not a completed, fully fleshed out 3D model, okay? It has to go through processing. Once it's gone through processing, sure, you can download the OBJ, you can download, Matterpack, and other assets, E57 files, so on. But it's not, and nothing is really stored on the camera itself. It's all in the app. The app controls the camera. The camera, does its little scan, transfers everything to the app, and everything is there. Can you get files from the app onto your, device? Sure. I mean, you can export it right from the app and get it there. But again, the raw data, it's not going to make any sense. Can't be brought into or converted into DWG from that. It's got to go through processing first. All right. Can we link our Matterport BIM to Captured and show our engineers the space through Captured? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you can, as I mentioned before, like the Captured Creator Studio, if you can convert your BIM to a GLB file or a GLTF, can be done with various software programs such as Blender. You can then integrate that directly into the Captured Creator Studio and then share that via a link or even a white labeled link. We do offer white label as well to your customers directly. They can then kind of toggle the BIM on and off and view the physical space and or any other digital assets that have been integrated. So yeah, definitely possible.
I know Matterport, when you order the BIM assets from us, we provide an RVT, right, a Revit file. Do you know, and I'm just not very familiar with Revit, we don't have our expert Revit with us. Do you know if you can take that, open it up in Revit or some AutoCAD tool and convert and export out as proper?
Yes, yeah, I believe you can. I don't know the exact steps, but yeah, I believe that's possible. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it's basically just open up, and yeah, because you would have to get it from RVT to something. If you're making your own, BIM assets, you can do whatever you want. You can just go and create them using Blender, I suppose. But okay, so I was just kind of wondering if there was a simple way from Revit to go into what was it that is needed?
GLB or GLTF files. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely that's possible through Blender. Again, I think we have some resources that I can share on our Captured Community Facebook page. Yeah, if anyone's interested.
Perfect. And how do they get there? We've mentioned the Captured Community a couple of times. Go to Facebook. Where they search?
It's the CCG, so the Captured Community Group on Facebook. So yeah, you can just request to join from there. And yeah, bit of a community where people can ask questions and get answers to specific things that they may need. Yeah, everyone in there is very, very helpful. So yeah, it's a good place for knowledge sharing and resource access.
Cool. Brilliant. All right. For the on-demand folks, we'll be able to throw a link up there. Okay, so that is pretty much all the questions that I see in the Q&A. Again, if you threw a question up, I know this does happen sometimes, you threw a question up into chat, I may have missed it. So copy it out of there, paste it into Q&A, and then I'll be able to easily find it. But other than that, okay, so we talked a good amount of how this gets done. Let's go back a little bit to some use cases we saw. You showed us the video of the park, and that is kind of a facility in a way trying to figure out usage of the park, how it's a public space, so how it's getting used, and they've done a lot of integration with IoT devices. We saw the school and how they're using it kind of as an educational. We've got creative and translated that to how facility managers can kind of space plan their facility prior to actually going in and physically moving things around, which is obviously a lot more time consuming and expensive. How else are you seeing your customers using AR Connect?
Yeah, so another good example I can share as well is for staff onboarding. Yeah, educating new staff members about certain elements within facilities. So I can share something with you we did for a company called Western Water. Hopefully you can see my screen okay. Yep. So just skipping through, this was concentrating on certain pump elements. Basically digitizing physical machinery, pumps, and then having IoT data feeding through to that, but also having this as more like a staff onboarding to just give them additional information about certain elements or machinery within the facility. And it's just seen as a great way to kind of onboard new staff, but then also kind of combining that with having live data feeding through about certain elements of machinery, the temperature, whether it needs repairing, whether it needs fixing, and how that machinery is performing as well. So you can see here we have a pump that was digitized that can be used to educate staff members on. I'm just trying to scrub through to
So it looks like they can actually see, so you've digitized kind of the internal components of that pump or whatever it might be in the facility, and they're using it for training. So they kind of not just see the outside and not really have a full understanding of what's going on the inside, because you can't just open it up. They use this to see what's going on.
Exactly, see what's going on, and then also attaching certain elements and IoT data through feeding through just to understand how it's operating. But then, as you said, a lot easier than going all the way underground or digging certain machinery up. This is all there digitized, ready for them to kind of experience and be immersed in, and get the additional information that they require.
Yeah, that's also cool. We saw an example of just kind of a street, right, or just ground where you would, like you said, you'd have to dig up everything, and that's obviously not going to happen. This allows you to kind of have a better understanding of what's going on underground.
Exactly. So many use cases within a variety of industries. I think we've spanned through facilities management, museums, galleries, public areas. So there's a lot of use cases depending on what you'd like to use it for, or what you want to sell into your clients for.
Got it. Did get another question here. Let's tackle that before we do have to go. Is BIM overlay considered a basic or a premium overlay?
So that would be considered a premium overlay. So anything, any digital asset that you're integrating into Captured would be considered a premium tool or premium model. In a nutshell, Captured essentially provides a free version where you can integrate your logo and branding into a tool. But then premium models then span onto our other kind of more in-depth features, such as virtual staging, audio, spatial audio integration, things like that, where they will make it a premium model that we offer a subscription on. So our subscription starts at $20 a month for 20 premium tours. So think of it the same way as you would have Matterport available spaces on there. So having a certain amount of premium spaces that you can then apply to various different models. And then we do also have some pricing for AR Connect as well. So the augmented reality side of things, which is $35 US per month to have that accessible to an end user. You don't have to pay the $35 if you're just setting up the experience and testing yourself as an admin of your Captured account. You can not pay anything and set that space up and visualize how that will look. But as soon as you want that to be accessible to any end user to access, it's $35 US per month per model.
Got it. Okay, makes sense. Good to know. Okay, so we got that. What is the max size of the area that works without, we talked a little bit, am I getting this right? I think I have that right. We talked about like the max size of the model. It's a little ambiguous, but have you run into model size issues?
Yeah, I think I kind of understand where they're coming from, and it's the golden question, because there's no surefire way to say X number of square meters or square foot will be successful or not. It really depends on the type of scan that's been done. Depends on the hardware device that you're scanning with. Obviously, a Pro 3 camera is going to be a lot more accurate and better performant than an Insta360 Matterport model, and really depends on the number of alignment points that you have within the space as well. If you have a wide open field with very limited number of alignment points that can be recognized, there's going to be some difficulties there. If anyone's unsure, I'd recommend sending me an email, sending me the model. I can have a look at it and maybe give you some advice about how best to activate AR within there. But unfortunately, and I wish there was, there's no just blanket answer of yes or no. It really depends on the model and the scan and the area that's been captured.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's more about the surface area than just square feet, right? Or square meters. Same thing with Matterport. It's really hard to.
Yeah, complexity of the scan, all of that stuff. So it's really dependent on each scan, each use case.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. With that, I think we're going to have to end it. We did have one last question, but unfortunately we are out of time. So thank you very, very much, Alex. I really, really appreciate it. I think that's amazing. I think AR is potentially bigger than VR. I think it's got a ton of applications and is just going to be absolutely huge.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree with that. And we're only just getting started as well. There's some really exciting hardware coming out this year, obviously, with the Apple Vision Pro, and we see a lot of potential with that. And it's just a really exciting space to be in. So thanks very much, Amir and Matterport, for having me on. It's great to speak to everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining. And looking forward to catching up with anyone who's interested in learning a bit more.
Sounds great. All right. Again, appreciate everyone's time and all the great questions. And we'll see you next month in the next Shop Talk. All right, everybody, take care and have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye.